Welcome to Rockingham Speedway for race number 2 of the season here at Rockingham Speedway for today's 59 lap race around this 1.3 mile weirdly shaped oval here inside of North Carolina for the second race of the season. Last year we saw the 20 of JC Giovanni get it done. We'll see what will happen today. It's race number 2 of the year. Last week at Chicagoland, we saw the 4 of Ethan Hansen take the win, his first win in 2 seasons. And the 22 update on him, injured himself in a practice session and is out for the remainder of the year. And that will be a hard hit for that 22 team. So now we slide in a new driver. We thought we were going to do that, but have not. So now the season is still at 31 drivers after adding a driver with 35. As we are ready to go for race number 2. But first, the drivers to watch for and some information about the track. Rockingham Speedway is a 1.3 mile oval. You can see the weirdly shaped front stretch, and the back stretch is perfectly straight. They go about 170 miles in the straightaway, about 140 in the quarters. And last year's winner, the 20 of JC Giovanni, we already said. Now let's take a look at the drivers to watch for before we drop the green flag for today's race. Our first of 2 drivers to watch for is the 14 driving the Mobile 1 Bass Pro Shops Chevrolet. The 14 of Grant Hemmer starts on the pole, or qualified 10th, was the fastest car in practice. He looks to have a very solid run today at North Carolina. He's rolling off in a very solid spot. It's the first career pole for the 5 of Ben Hemmer. It's going to be a fun race for him. It should be a fun race for all of us as we are ready to go for the race here at North Carolina. The pace car leads this field 31 strong through turns 3 and 4. 31 cars, 59 laps, about 40 minutes of racing should take us. As we are ready to go, the pace car pulls into pit road. Race number 2 of the season. Pace car is in the pits. We await the green flag for race number 2 of the season. Flag waver waves the green flag, and we are underway at Rockingham, race number 2. Great jump for the 5 and the 16. That's a good start for him. That's one of the best starting spots of his career. Last week's winner, the 4 of Ethan Hansen. Great start for him. They'll be single file for first and second, then side by side for third down the back straightaway. It's the 5 of Ben Hemmer. Leads them off of turn number 4 to complete lap number 1, and the 5 of Ben Hemmer has led that lap. Top 7 cars are single file. That might change to 8 here. There goes the 14 sliding on by. On board with the 4, Ethan Hansen all over that back bumper. Thought about taking a peek to the inside. It's not there. Working their way through turns 3 and 4 to complete lap number 2. On to lap number 3. Bumper to bumper racing for the lead at Rockingham. Fastest lap of the race is Ethan Hansen. As of now, that could change. Top 10 cars single filed and side by side for 11th with Grayson Getz in the 88. That files out. Almost half the field single file now, but they're solidly 2 by 2 everywhere else in the track. And then leading the back of the field is the 9 of Sam Hoffman. Back up front, bumper to bumper to bumper in those top 3 spots. My keyboard might be a little loud. Through the corner, only 2 minutes in, already 4 laps in. Now down the back straightaway. Top 3 cars. Very tightly bumper to bumper, working their way through the corners. Very tight racing. Almost 3 wide there, back in about the 20th position. That is the battle for 17th if you include the 42. Side by side for 14th, or 14th. That's the 33 and the 41 of Will Hansen. And it's Brooks Hansen and Will Hansen side by side down the back straightaway. Into that corner, the 41 gets an edge, clears the 33. It looks like the inside's been the way to go. Last season's champion, Grayson Getz, all over the back bumper, the 11 for the last spot in the top 10. That's some good side-by-side racing here, but the leader is still the 5, but a nice pass for second by the 16 of Dave Hansen. Getting into second, top 3 cars, very tightly racing. But then 4th place is Terry Hansen and JC Colagiovanni, all over his bumper in 5th. Then 6th place, now is Grant Hammer. He was fastest car in practice. He started in about 10th, knifing his way up into the 6th position. Fastest lap of the race, just ran its Grayson Getz. So a nice move by Grant. Then Ashton Murphy back there in 7th. Side by side for 8th. Still like that. The inside lane, if you get down there, you're going to pass everyone. That's hurting Grayson Getz right now. So he's dropped all the way back to 13th actually. That could get worse to 14th as here comes Will Hansen. Back up front, the 4 trying to get by the 16. I think he's going to be able to do it just because he has that side-by-side advantage in the 3 and 4. Although 16's fighting back harder than anyone's fought back on that top lane. Already 8 laps in. This is letting the 5 drive away just the slightest bit. The 11's up into 8th. Lucas Hansen in 9th. That's a great run for him. Fastest lap of the race is 24.659 by Grayson Getz. Top 4 cars right there is the 20 has driven in that gap a little bit, as now the 24 trying to get pushed along by the 14. A big move to the inside. This is trying to pass for 5th by the 14. They're also side by side for 3rd up there. As the 20 does it. The 14 not able to clear the 24 yet. Now he has. Now the battle is for 3rd. As the 20 is going to make that pass work too. The 16 way up the track. This might allow the 14 to get up there. And the 14 is just knifing his way through the field right now. And so is the 20 and the 11. Grayson Getz has dropped all the way back to 15th. Now being challenged for 16th as we got caught on that top lane. And all the way back in last place. They're now side by side for that position. The 43 and the 25 as the bottom lane is almost twice as fast. There goes the 20. Last year's winner at this track. Trying to be the first driver to win 2 races at the same track. He's going to go a move on the 4. And then immediately into turns 1 and 2. He'll dive bomb up the 5. Trying to get side by side for the lead. They're 2 by 2 in the first 2 sets of cars. The 20 to the lead. Can he clear the 5? Yes, he can, and now the 16 is going to get a nose in there. He's going to try to get around the 5, and if that happens, the 4 might be able to too, as the 16 clears the 5 for 2nd, and now the 4 gets next to him. 12 laps in, and the 14 is lurking in the distance, bringing the 48 with them, as the 11 goes to work on the 24 of Terry Hansen. Can't set up the move just yet, but good racing up front. The 20 breaks away a little bit. He dominated this race last season. Last place car exits turn 2 as this guy is halfway through turns 3 and 4. It's about a 10-second lead for him as he crosses the stripe to complete that lap. First career race for the 35 of Joey Beck in 27th. Not the worst of runs for that team. As the 16 having one of the best runs of his career right now in that 2nd spot. As the top 3 have broken away a little bit. As the 14, the 5, still caught up in that top lane. He drops all the way back to 6th. Has to get down? Yes, he does. But now the 24 is right there as our pole sitter has dropped 5 spots already. That's a race high. Except maybe Grayson Getz, who's dropped all the way back to 14th. He's held off that 15 car very well. As they work their way into the corner. No cautions yet. Lap 15 of 59. Some close calls. Back here, they're almost 3 wide down the back straightaway. Almost a little bit of contact. There might have been contact there. They almost dumped each other going into the corner. So we work our way back up through the field. The 11 goes to work on the 24 with help from the 47 and the 31. The 20 is up front with a little bit over 4/10 of a second advantage. Running about 1/10 of a second faster than the 16 last lap. Lap time's already almost half a second off. So he extends his lead from 0.36 to 0.47, so about a half-second advantage. That lap was about a 1/10 of a second faster again. The 25. Never mind. 25 seconds is the number. That's what I meant to say. As the 14, we said he was lurking in the distance. Let's go on board with him as he goes to work on the 4 of Ethan Hansen's. Off of turns 3 and 4, completes lap 17. Into the corner now. Has a good shot at him in turns 3 and 4 if he gets the run off the corner exit. Down the back straightaway, into turns 3 and 4. Doesn't have the shot he thought he was going to get. 16s all the way back up to the bumper of the 20. Meanwhile, will the 48 try to set up the 14 or follow him through the field as they work their way across the stripe to complete lap number 18? Into turns 1 and 2, let's ride along with the 16 for a lap or so as he tries to get around the 20, just like the 20 got around him already. One of the easiest races to pass we've seen all year. No cautions yet, but a very entertaining race as we're up to hit the 20 lap mark here at Rockingham. Off of turns 3 and 4. He'll cross the stripe into turns 1 and 2. Lap 20 out of 59, 19 laps completed. Here's the hood cam, the front bumper cam, the rear camera. You see the 4 has broken away. The 48 thought about trying to pass on the top all the way up to that bumper. As they work their way off the corner across the stripe. 16's going to work. The 4 has broken away. Here comes the 48. He thought about peeking up top. 2 thought about getting by the 11. It's starting to get a little bit harder to pass. The 19 out of nowhere. Got a good run going on that bottom. Last place car about half a second back. We might get lap traffic towards the 45 lap mark or so. Cross the stripe to complete lap 21. Halfway mark is about is just 29 laps in, basically, just a little bit more. 9 minutes and 30 seconds since we started this part of the race, the pacing laps. And we're already almost halfway through the race, so a very good race time-wise. 20 and the 16 still battling for that top spot. Lap 22 has just been completed. We're on lap 23 out of 59. And these two cars have completely broken away from the rest of the field as the 4 is all on his own. And then the 14, the 48 with a good battle. And then a good string of cars. About 5 cars strong racing everywhere else. Last place car about 15 seconds behind the leader. The points leader after last race was Ethan Hansen. He's in 3rd right now. I don't know if he'll still have that spot. Last year, everyone thought he was going to be one of the guys to beat. Didn't win a race, missed the playoffs by 1 spot. He needed to be in the top 10. He finished 11th. People thought maybe these newer drivers, maybe this car wasn't right for him compared to those other cars we've used in the Custom Cup. But then first race of the year comes out to Chicagoland and wins. And now here he is with another solid run, running 3rd here at Rockingham, a track that he struggled at last year, but said he likes. Meanwhile, last year's winner, JC Colo Giovanni, leads the way. In the lead, but with the 16 all over his back bumper. About a 3/4 of a lap advantage between the 25 in last place and the 20 in first place. What will lap traffic do for these guys as they're working their way off turns 1 and 2 for the 26th time today? He's the 4 all on his own, the 14 and the 48 still doing their own thing. I don't think there's any side-by-side racing that's relevant on the track right now. Solid racing back here, right around that 15th position. Grayson Getz all the way back in 15th. He's going to lose another spot to the 3 here. That's going to put him all the way in 17th, unless the 3 doesn't get by him, which at the stripe doesn't. That's where the racing is right now, is that area right here. Some good battles here. The 19 up to the back bumper. The 5, he is just cutting his way through the field. As we go take a look at our starting lineup from the start of the race really quick. In qualifying, Addison Stone started in 16th. That pass right there put him in 6th. He's up 10 spots since we started the race. He's the big mover of the race so far, and he's having a very solid day. Meanwhile, one of the bigger droppers, it's either the 5 or the 18 of Grayson Getz. I want to say they've both dropped 6 spots from the start. The 5 dropped from the pole to 7th. Getz dropped from 13th to 16th. So yes, your big dropper of the race is the 5 of Ben Hemmer, running back in 7th. As a 20, a really fast lap there, broke away a little bit from the 16. And then meanwhile, the 4, all on his own with the 14 and the 48, they're still bumper to bumper. They're starting to push their way back up a little bit as they actually ran lap times very similar to that of the 20 last time around. halfway mark of the race has been hit. The second half of the race begins. No cautions so far. Time crunch, we couldn't set it up, so we got the 2 or 3 caution mark. No big deal as long as the racing is this good. I don't think anyone's going to care about the caution count. Even good racing in the back. 2 races into the season, what goes through your head? Are you trying to push for wins early? That way if something happens later in the year, you're safe, which is what we saw happen to the 88 in the round of 8. Kind of sat around 4th and 5th, was good in the points, and then we saw the engine blow at Charlotte last year. He missed the championship race and actually was one of the better drivers of the season. Or do you sit back, try to finish 5th or 6th, just grab top 10s as much as humanly possible, sneak into the playoffs, and then gas it up? Or do you be like the 20 or the 4 who have ran solidly inside the top spots both the races so far this year? The 4 won the race last time at Chicagoland almost a month ago after Christmas break and Thanksgiving and all that stuff. But now we're back underway, and the 20 comes out here with the lead. Interesting run here. The 16 having a solid day. He's your driver of the day as of now. Started in 2nd, still running in 2nd. Trying to keep up with the 20, but 20 starting to break that gap up. It's got to be almost 7/10 of a second now. 66 hundredths of a second is the advantage. Meanwhile, the 48 has gotten around the 14, and now how fast is the 48? We're about to find out. Does he have the speed to run down this 20 car in the last 25 or so laps? Breaks away from the 14 already by 2 or 3 car lengths. Meanwhile, the 4 is all on his own. And same thing can be said for the 16, who's nearly a second off the 20 now, who's starting to run away with the show a little bit. Working their way down the back straightaway. If you have any comments, let me know. New microphone, Christmas gift. Tell us how you like it. So far, so good. Still getting used to it. The mic quality might not be the best. It might be a little quiet. Might be a little loud. It might be muted. I don't really know what I'm doing. Should be okay, though. Lap 35 of 59. Down the back straightaway. 15 minutes into the race. About 35 of 59 laps completed. It's the 20 and the 16 who ran a very good lap last time around. Almost 2/10 of a second faster. Where did this come from? Still closing that gap in. Something's up with the 20 car. I just don't know what it is, but something is definitely wrong, as the gap might be under half a second now. Down to 43 hundredths of a second, and that's almost 2.5 seconds back to the 4. And the 48, who slowly but surely is pulling away from the 14 and really in the 4. In the battle on the track right now is the 19 and the 14. As that battle's heating up, the 19 started 16th, up 10 spots in 36 laps. He is on a mission. Easily, probably the fastest car on the track. There he goes up the inside of the 14. One of the more aggressive races we've seen by a driver this year, or ever in these last couple seasons, by the 19. The 2 goes to work on the 5, trying to drop him another spot, and gets. Currently sits in 14th. 19 shoots by the 14, now goes to work on the 48. I don't think the 19 car has a chance to win the race. He needs to gain 4 seconds in the next 20 or so laps. The number is actually up to 4.6 seconds. Lap traffic's going to come into play in the next 2 or 3 laps. We'll see how that works out. As you can see, the 25, if we go on board with the 20, we'll show you what you mean. There is the 25. There's the rear camera. On board with the 16, lap 39 out of 59 just started. Lap times are over a second slower than they were at the start of the race. Down the back straightaway, lap 39 out of 59 into the corners. The 16's trying to pass on the top. Didn't get a great run. Here comes the 48 up to the back bumper of the 4, and he's bringing the 19 with them. Meanwhile, the 16 is there. Now less than 2/10 of a second off with that 25 car in the front camera. After that, it's not much. But then you get to the 9 and the 7, and then traffic really starts to thicken out a little bit as the cars have spaced out for the most part, except for right around the 10th spot. You saw the 41 there. The only problem is it's super hard to pass anywhere but the top. Is the 16 about to split the middle? He's going to try it, but like I said, you can't pass in the top. 25 gets way up the track, lets them do their thing. As we're back underway, now it's a battle to see if the 16 can get around the 20 before he gets to the 9 and the 7, because if he gets into that traffic, the only way to get around a car is on the bottom, and I guarantee you that 20 is going to hug the bottom white line to get around cars, and if the 16 tries to pass there, that's an illegal move. We're on lap 42 out of 59, and they're going to catch that 9 car, probably in turns 3 or 4. The 19 is caught up to the 48, probably going to make a move on the back straightaway. He's been super aggressive all day. It almost looks like they might have bumped him from behind. 19's actually going to ride on the bumper a little bit, maybe trying to push the 48 up to the 4 so he can double him up. Race for the lead. They're back to the back bumper of the 9 on lap 42. Now 43 out of 59. 16 tries the top lane again. If he gets stuck behind the 9 car, this might work, but even the 9 car is faster than the 16 when the 16's up top. The 20 is going to go around the 9, and the 16 is going to have to follow him in. Otherwise, the 9 is going to slam the door and make it really life miserable for that 16 car. So they complete lap 43 out of 59. 16 laps to go. The 9 actually gets a solid run on the top lane. Once they get by this car, once they get by these couple cars here, it should be smoother sailing. As now the 19 around the 48, about half a second off the 4, and actually that gap was 4.6 seconds. It's now 3.6 seconds, but still not catching up to the leader at a rate where Addison Stone will be able to get by. And this might be interesting because these 2 lap cars are going to be side by side in turns 1 and 2, and so that's a tough decision for the 16. He's going to try the top, and the 20 stuck behind the 21. The 21 is going to stay down there. The 16 is going to get next to the 20, and the 20 is going to have to go back down below the 21. Otherwise, the 16 is going to get around. Side by side for the lead, the 16 on the top, the 20 with the preferred lane. Big run for the 16 down the straightaway. The 16 leads the lap. He's clear of the 20. What does the 20 decide to do? That 21 car is super slow. The 9's back into the conversation. The 20 is going to have to make a move on the back straightaway. Otherwise, the 16 is going to get around. But the 21's not moving out of the way, and the 20's not trying to make a move, and that is terrible driving by the 20. And just, what do you do if you're the 20 car with the line the 21 is running? Just running dead center of the track every single time, and that lead for the 16, 0.6 of a second already. Now he drives around the 21, but how much time? Does he have the speed to get back to the 16, who looks faster than the 20 for me those last couple laps? But now the 16's having his own trouble with the 7 car. So this is going to allow the 20 to get back into it. Even the 4, they're in traffic now. He's 2 seconds off. These guys aren't out of the conversation, depending on how bad the traffic is. There's the 19 cruising around the top of the 4, sneaking into that 3rd spot. Are they going to push that 25 through? No, not fast enough. There goes the 9 around the top. Can't clear the 25 just yet. The 7 moves out of the way, and we're going to have a battle now. 11 laps to go here at Rockingham. The gap from 2nd to 3rd is about 2 seconds, but there's only 3 lap cars separating them. There's the 20. The 19's not far off. He is easily the fastest car on the racetrack right now. He was 0.8 of a second faster, or only 0.2 of a second slower last lap around. Almost no traffic that lap. This might be a really good lap by the 19. 26.901. The 20 ran 27.2. The 16 ran 26.8 and extended his lead to 0.8 of a second. And it looks like once he gets by this 35, traffic is not very heavy at all. It looks like the 16's in a good position to grab career win number 1. If we get a caution now, we will have a restart, but I don't think we're going to get a caution. They're below 110 miles an hour now in the corners. So they're almost 2 seconds a lap slower than they were at the start of the race. 19 gets stuck in lap traffic, and it's going to be a battle between the 20 and the 16, but the 16 has nothing to worry about traffic-wise. Different story could be told for the 20, as the gap is now with 1.1 seconds. And it looks like it's going to be career win number 1 for the 16. Just has to go 7.5 more laps and hope that 20 doesn't catch up to him in traffic. Really solid drive by the 16 and the 20. They each led about half the race. Great effort by the 19 from 16th all the way up to 3rd. A great drive by him. 4th place as of now for the 4, but don't count out the 48, and then it's a massive gap back to the 14, about a second. Right as of now, there are 24 cars on the lead lap, it looks like. 25. It's a 1.3 second advantage for the 16, and 1 lap car, maybe 2 after this corner, separates them as we've hit 6 laps to go for the 16 car. Now 2 lap cars separate them. Only 1 more lap car to get by before it's smooth sailing the rest of the way. If the 16 gets by that 32 car, it's pretty much over for the 20, as the lead is going to be over a second and a half now, with 5 more laps to go for the 16. Down the back straightaway, into the corner. Off of turns 3 and 4. Big advantage for the 16. Gets stuck on the bumper a little bit. No issue for him. The gap only goes up about 0.05 of a second. He's midway through the corner. Here comes the 20. Into the corner, coming to 3 laps to go for the 16, driving the Ortho Fire Ant Killer Ford. Three laps to go for the 16. Dave Hansen trying to get career win number 1. Off of turns 3 and 4, 2 laps to go this time by. Eight more corners for the 16. 1.7 seconds, nothing to worry about in the mirror. Nothing to worry about up front. He has to drive 6 more corners without tearing up the car, and it'll be a victory for the 16. White flag in the air this time by. It's going to be career win number 1 for the 16. He just has to bring it home in one piece, and he should be okay. Down the back straightaway for the final time, off of turn number 2. 2 more corners to go for Dave Hansen into turns 3 and 4. It's going to be career win number 1 as Dave Hansen and Ethan Hansen will win the first 2 races of the season. Off of turn number 4, the 16 is going to win by nearly 2 seconds at North Carolina. The rest of the field finishes. Big gap there. Pole sitter Ben Hemmer, 8th place. Grayson Getz crawls his way back up to 13th. So the rest of the field crosses the stripe, and I think this is everyone. As Dave Hansen pulls into the pits. First career win for the 16. He led about half the laps of the race, the other half led by the 20. But a very good drive, 2.48 second margin. But the driver of the day has to be the 19 of Addison Stone, going from 16th to 3rd in just 59 laps. That does it for race number 2 of the season. It was a fun one here at North Carolina. We will see you next time at Bristol for the 3rd race of the season.